Hello everybody, it's me, Sports Talk Guy. And in this episode we'll be talking about Bleacher Report and Dave Lozo. If you don't know what Bleacher Report is like I guess a smaller sports center, kind of, or an ESPN.com. It's a website or an app if you have an iPhone or an Android or basically a smartphone. Bleacher Report reports on all kinds of things sports, anything you want. You can customize it to only give you news on sports you care about or your favorite sports teams. And even in football, they do specific players just for fantasy football. Bleacher Report is made up of writers who are mostly independent. They get hired by Bleacher Report, and most of it is opinionated and kind of bloggish. And there's always comments and everything. It's a fun time. But what I'm here to talk about today is about Dave Lozo. If you don't know who Dave Lozo is, he is the lead national writer for the NHL's section of the Bleacher Report. And he makes a lot of articles. I've read plenty of articles from him. He and a few other guys make the NHL Power Rankings for Bleacher Report. He also makes, obviously, articles of his own. I've read some articles that were some really good, some really bad. Why am I talking about him? There was this one article. It was a few weeks ago. I read it a few weeks ago. It's just I'm uploading it now because, again, when I get time to record, probably as he gets same time to write. He is a Rangers fan, a New York Rangers fan, and I'm a Flyers fan. Clearly, that kind of irrelevant. But what kind of made me mad was he made an article about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. The Rangers played the Flyers. The season series ended up 2-2. They played each other 4 times. The Rangers won 2 at home. The Flyers won 2 at home. He in his article he basically said that the Rangers before I get into this, the Rangers and Flyers are set for a straight crash course to meet in the playoffs as everything's going right now. They'll probably end up playing each other most likely. There's no reason why I don't see they would. And as it looks right now, the Rangers will get home ice in a 7-game series. That being said, the Rangers have dominated the Flyers at home over the past few years, while the past few seasons, but I mean years, I mean like 4 or 5 years, the past few seasons, I mean this season and last season, the Flyers have dominated the Rangers and Philly. But he went on to say in his article that the Rangers are the clear favorite over the Flyers in the series. That kind of irked me. But then also another thing that irks me, the power rankings. He's not the only one that works on the power rankings, there's others, but there was when the Flyers were on their huge, kind of huge win streak. They won 5 games in a row against the top teams in the NHL. They beat the Penguins twice, they beat Dallas once, and they beat St. Louis once. And then just a few days last week, they lost back-to-back shootout games to Boston and St. Louis. It was a pretty good stretch run. It was very impressive. Yet he did not have the Flyers high in the power rankings. The power rankings are for the teams that are currently hot and currently doing the best. He had the Flyers, 11th at his highest, and he still had the Rangers ahead of them. And that's just biased. And I don't like that. Like, Dave, if you're watching this, listen, I like you write good articles, but when you write biased articles and you do biased stuff, your articles are pitiful and some of the worst I've ever read. And I will be doing a first round mock draft, or not mock draft. I said this in a previous video. I'll be doing a first round analyst of the NHL playoffs, who I think is going to win and go into the second round. And most likely I'll pick the Flyers to overcome the Rangers, as I will admit the bias there. But the difference is, Dave, if you are watching this, at least in your articles, when you're being biased, admit you're biased. Then it'll be a little bit more enjoyable to read. Because when you're not even claiming you're being biased, especially on your Twitter, when you claim you're not being biased, that's when it's even worse. Just claim. Just say, I'm being biased for my Rangers. I made an article about them. Here's why I think so. Fine. I say biased things all the time about my Philly teams, as you can clearly see. I'm a Philly fan. So yeah. When your articles are biased, they're bad. As I just said, they're awful. You can't be a biased writer. I get Bleacher Reports with your writers. It's kind of opinionated in the way your power rankings were. You kind of vote, and I get that. But there's some things that just should have to make straight sense. That at that point in time, the Flyers were the clear better team than the Rangers, And now, I'm not afraid to say it, the Rangers are looking better than the Flyers right now. But in a 7-game series, you saying the Flyers, or not the Flyers, the Rangers are the clear favorite against the Flyers, that's pretty biased. Personally, I think whoever gets home ice will win that game in 7 at their place. Of course, it's the NHL, anything can happen. No team should be favored in any of these 2 or 3 games. And these playoffs are going to be crazy with the new system, but you can't say that. You can't say that the Rangers are their clear favorite, because they're not. You tie the season series, and obviously both teams winning at home. And obviously, if both teams won at home all the way through the series, obviously the team that gets Game 7 is going to win. But still. And then the power rankings, the Flyers were, through that 5 games, were the best team in the league. They easily were. But then they went on to lose a few games. They lost to Boston in overtime. Then they lost to the Blues in overtime. And then they've been a bit on a skid. Nothing to worry about as a Flyers fan, of course. And I get that they're not the best now, but it's just that's how the power rankings work. From a week-to-week basis, who's the best team, who's not. That's how it works. And specifically when I'm talking about Bleacher Report too, they have a few other writers who are also a little biased. I'm pretty sure the only time I see Flyers articles that are positive are the ones, because on Bleacher Report, they have some articles that they make, and they have some articles that they'll get from another website, and they'll credit them, of course, just so their fans of Bleacher Report can see this. I'm pretty sure I have not seen one positive thing said about the Flyers that wasn't an article from another website. Normally, it's a Comcast Philly is the article that I get, which is fine. As a Flyers fan, it's fine to read those, but I feel like there's no NHL writers that are all about the Flyers, or I mean, you don't have to be all about the Flyers, I guess I shouldn't say that. But there's never anything positive. I'll see a bunch of things from other teams positively, and I never see my team. Why can't my team be there? They're one of the better teams in the league right now. I mean, they're not the best. They certainly aren't the best. I just want unbiased content, really, is what I want. That's why, for the most part, I like Bleacher Report, but when Bleacher Report becomes biased, and writers become biased, that's when it gets bad, and it's not fun read, and then, yeah. But anyways, that's all I'm here to talk about in this episode, and I will see you guys in the next episode or video.